wanting to move on from the Klitschko fight. Do you think that performance does that?
Sorry?
You spoke about wanting to move on from the Klitschko fight. Do you think that does that?
Yeah. And it was a completely different fight to the Klitschko fight. So, as I said, it's like I can't live off of that Klitschko fight and sit back in my armchair and think what a great fight I had with Klitschko, because guys like Takam are completely different styles. So I just had to put Klitschko's victory aside and just focus on Pulev and then Takam and all the other issues that come with boxing. And if I don't put it behind me, it could be a curse, do you know what I mean? So I've just moved on, and that's why like Takam's done now, you know, and now I'm focusing on what's next.
How difficult was it to make that change of opponent to deal with that?
I think like Pulev, no disrespect, but you know, from like a competitive nature, me talking, I think I would have been able to have been a little bit more effective. You know, see when I don't know what round Takam went down in. Four, but maybe Pulev wouldn't have made it through the fourth. Takam was, as I said, shorter. He knows how to ride that right hand, and that's what made it a bit interesting with the change of opponent. I just knew that he deals with guys like me every day in the gym because he's naturally the shorter style, and I don't deal with guys like Takam every day in the gym. So it's just going to be a little bit more difficult. But as I said, with him, certain mistakes that I could have been making 5 fights ago, I'm not going to make anymore against someone like Takam, because all they want to do is land one shot.
You seem to be headhunting a little bit, just aiming your jab for his head, and obviously he was great at the movement. That you didn't seem to be getting your rhythm because of that.
Yeah. So with him, I think three things. When I hurt him, don't rush in, because as you said, he knows how to move his head. Bust him up with that jab. You saw his eyes, you know. Then I started thinking, okay, started hurting him to the head. Then I started throwing the jab to the body a bit more, that right hand to the body, sinking it in. But also, why I don't want to rush is because he's what's he had, 30 something fights, something like that. So quite experienced, and he knows I'm gonna pay. He knows his durability, so he knows he's gonna stay in the ring for 10 rounds, 11 rounds, however long he could last, and just try and land that one sweet haymaker. And you'll know, in the heavyweight division, that can change a fight, and then belts go back to France, and we got to start again.
Anthony, you talked about sparring people like Benga, who are similar build to Carlos. Did you draw on that kind of experience and those people around you in that short period where obviously you had to change opponents?
100%, yeah, 100%. Because that's what I mean. I have to go way back to like 2014 to think of guys I sparred like Takam. That's what I mean. It's not an everyday thing. I'm sparring big guys every other week, because there's not so many shorter heavyweights, you know. So yeah, I had to draw back to that time I was sparring Benga, and other times Rob done really well, got in other sparring partners, which were good. And other than that, I just knew he was going to be a bit more difficult than someone I knew I could outbox and, you know, slip certain shots and stuff. He was doing the slipping and making it difficult for me to land shots.
Do you enjoy that challenge of that tactical, where you have to do something different?
Where do you sit in the arena? Do you sit in the press box area? Do you see me talking to him? Yeah, that's the competitive nature, telling him, come on, like, I love it, I enjoy it.
It seems to take you a while to do that sometimes though. The first 4 rounds you sort of work him out, and then you seem to relax a bit and start fighting.
That's it, game of chess. You watch their next move, what they're about, you feel a little shot, oh, that jab's a little bit sneaky, you don't get caught with that again. And then you just kind of get into your rhythm. Then Rob said, I think in round 8, whoa, don't get carried away, you know, because he's waiting for that one shot at that, and it can change a fight. So he brought me back down to reality, and just focus. And I do enjoy it. It's just the competitive nature in me. He hit me with a jab, I'm going to hit you with a jab. And then you just wink at them and let them know that I'm one step ahead.
Did you feel the additional weight at all?
No. Thank God.
Did
No.
you think the headbutt was intentional?
No. He's a short guy. He went under, rolled a shot, come up, and I'm going to speak from a positive point of view. He come to fight, he tried to roll a shot, come up, boom, headbutt. We cracked on. Do you know what I mean? I'm going to cry about it. We move on.
What was that ring walk like?
What was it like?
Yeah, we wanted to let the fans sing the ring walk song.
Yeah.
It would be a nice change.
Yeah, so I called Eddie 30 seconds before and said, well, don't play him. Nah, but listen, it was good. It was different. It was different. It was good. But no stress. We still got 10 rounds in, blood, you know, a little bit, like, some good action, and we got the win. So music, no music, the job was still complete.
Overall,
yep.
The Cardiff experience, Eddie's kind of hinted that it could become your winter home.
Okay.
So many people want to see you fight. They couldn't, do an O2 arena or anything because it's not big enough. How has your Cardiff experience been? Is it somewhere that you've really enjoyed?
Yeah, because we fought here before against Darch. Okay, that was a while ago. And as I said, like, it's good because I said, like, you've got people flying in from different countries, different areas, and like boxing is uniting people. So the more people, the better. The more people want to watch it, we have to come back to Cardiff. But let's not forget, without winning, people don't want to watch. So that's why I said to you, the most important thing about tonight was making sure we won. We didn't make mistakes. When I started getting a bit too cocky and confident in the ring, the corner do their job to kind of tell me to focus, because at the end of the day, whether there's 5 people or 5 million people watching, I just have to focus on winning. But it's great that we've got Cardiff as an option. I don't know how many times we can do it, but my focus is winning. I'm going to talk about all the positive stuff for people watching, but I will always have to keep my mind on just focusing on winning.
Anthony, Eddie talks about the pressure of a nation on your shoulders, and tonight you set a new world record for an indoor fight in terms of the crowd size. Can you sort of explain how you feel about the phenomenon that's building around you, and can you even begin to imagine what these nights will be like if you're challenging for the 3rd and 4th world titles?
Okay, I think UK boxing is close knit. So like, you got Finchley Boxing Club, GB Boxing, where all the boxers who represent the country, when they're done on the weekdays, go back to their local clubs on the weekend. I still go back to my local club, so it's grassroots. Like, even though we're champions and we're at different levels, but we're all fighting at elite level, we still go back to grassroots. So it's bringing so many people together. So it's nice that like so many eyes are on boxing, but there's no pressure, because I always understood that boxing is not a sport where, like football, if I joined a football team, they've been there since the 1950s and you're joining a legacy. So we all worked on building and telling our story to the public, and most importantly, behind that is Rob and the team making sure I'm focused on training, because without winning, I just think no one would want to listen. So Rob's developed me, still developing me. And even though it's great, I just know that everyone loves a winner, so I can't afford to mess up in the long run.
How excited are you about 2018 and the potential for more history?
Life, you never know tomorrow. I'm not worried about 2018. It is great for the potential possibilities that's going to come, but we've got to get there first. Do you know where I'm coming from? We're still in 2017. And you just never know what's around the corner. So I just take day by day. But the possibilities of 2018 are great. They're great. But, I'm just going to take it day by day, just look after myself. Because you just never know the landscape and what's going to happen in boxing or in people's lifestyles. You just never know. So as I said, enjoy this moment, focus on what I've got coming on, and the possibilities of 2018 are bubbling quietly in the distance.
What do you make of this phenomenon around you? And
it's not just me. Everyone's pulling weight. Everyone is. Look at you guys here. Everyone's pulling weight to make it what it is. And as I said, boxing will live on after me. If it weren't for the other champions, I wouldn't be here. People wouldn't be watching. So we'll pull in weight. Heavyweight boxing is madness. It's different. It's different. Look at the guy's face after. Heavyweight boxing is crazy. You got to be tough. People want to see him unconscious. It's just a different kettle of fish. I think that's what drives people to come and watch. It's crazy, isn't it? It's like a gladiatorial arena.
Is there one thing or one target that's still out there that's motivating you?
The discipline. The discipline, I think, and I think it's all I do. It's all I know. Yeah, it's the discipline. I need the discipline. I'll be reckless without boxing. I'll be beating people up in there, fighting, drinking in the crowd. My cousin probably fighting in my position. I'll be, yeah, I need the boxing. And it's helping me mature. And as I get older, I would have found my balance through boxing. So yeah, I'm good.
Eddie, I know if there's a nose injury, it might disrupt things, but can you tell us a little bit about what's next?
Yeah, I'd like to try and box 3 times in 2018, but again, we'll see what Anthony wants to do. Generally, boxing in October will allow you to get one in sort of March, April time, and then look at the summer as well. But it's not. We don't have to box 3 times next year. It's all down to what Anthony wants to do. We may have a mandatory with the WBA. That's a bit unclear at the moment. There's the Joseph Parker fight. There's the Deontay Wilder fight. You know, he has only had 20 fights. We was in the Dillon press conference, weren't we? You know, he was saying he's only had 22 fights, but he's only had 20 fights, and he seems to be in. You know, Carlos Takam is a very, very tough fight for someone who's had 20 fights. You know, and he came very close to beating Joseph Parker in New Zealand, and I think he won 1 round tonight on the cards.
Who?
But Takam. Yeah, sorry.
Did he?
I didn't think so, but that's what they said. But you know, it's a long way to go, and Rob knows that, the development of his fighter, because he knows that AJ's not the finished article, but he's been. That's what I was talking about earlier with the pressure. He's been thrown in these fights and thrown in these, like he said, these gladiatorial coliseums with 80,000 people, and he says, no pressure. Maybe there is no pressure, but if that's the case, then he's not human, because maybe he doesn't see the pressure. But I believe it's there, because it can't not be.
Yeah.
Every paper, every TV show, every sports channel, every newspaper, it's relentless, and he can't. You know, he can hardly leave his house without getting mobbed. But what a great position, what a great opportunity he's got to create a legacy for himself and in the sport. But again, I believe that the pressure is huge, and you know, we do look at international fights as well, and I would like him to have an international fight in 2018. He'd fight anywhere, but it does seem a shame to leave all this behind. That's the problem, because you know, it's incredible.
Yeah, boxing, British boxing, heavyweight boxing, it was hard to get that respect, wasn't it? Like British fighters to get that respect. It was always like at USA heavyweight division. Now a lot of fighters are wanting to come here and fight and stuff, so it's nice. I do like that. What do you think about going abroad?
If it's right.
Yeah.
That's it. But Takam wasn't ideal, obviously, in 12 days' notice. Like, we're very professional, and that's not ideal to fight someone on 12 days' notice. That's the long and the short of it. Obviously, it was tricky at times because Takam's awkward, squat, short, dynamic at times, but Anthony got the job done, and he's a winner, and he found a way to win each round, I thought, and close the show out in spite of, you know, a bad head collision at the start. So he'll learn from this, he'll move on, go stronger, get a bit smarter, and you know, at the end of the journey, hopefully he'll be the full package. And you know, he's the #1 heavyweight in the world, in my eyes and most people's eyes, and he'll just cement that hopefully over the next year or two, and possibly abroad, in the States, in a big fight at some point.
AJ, now Mayweather's retired, do you feel like you're the face of boxing?
No. Nah.
Not with that hooter.
give me a week. I'll be back. Nah. I don't know. You got. No, I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't look at it like that. Nah. I like Canelo. Canelo's big time. He's big in the game.
Eddie, I know you always say it's not always about the money, but where do you make the most money, here or in America?
At the moment here, but if you get it right, then in America. But again, it's, of course, the money's always important to every athlete, to every team, but it's also about growing the brand internationally, and he has a very long-term strategy with his team, and he's made every decision he's made so far in his career has been correct. Again, tonight was something totally different. Each one of the 19 fights, we knew exactly who we were fighting. We knew the date never changed, the venue never changed, the opponent never changed, and all of a sudden, bang, 12 days out, you get a phone call, and it's all flipped on its head. You know, and I don't think he understands either how difficult that was to deal with, not just in the style of the fight, but in the process of the change. because you can't just say, okay, cool, yeah, all right, Takam instead. It doesn't work like that.
Yeah, you have.
You know, you've been. He doesn't realise he's been programmed by Rob for 9 weeks for Kubrat Pulev. Now all of a sudden he's fighting a completely different style that is never going to suit him. You know, that kind of style in Carlos Takam, and he dealt with him, won every round, on virtually every round, and got the win. So it's about sitting down collectively, looking at, you know, of course the financial decisions as well, but really what AJ wants to do, and he's capable and has the opportunity to box in any territory he wants. But you know, I think right now it's about mapping out the year rather than just the next one. You know, I think we need a clear plan to move forward and you know, getting it right. But I don't think AJ's, you know, every show is iconic. Every show are images and footage that go back to people around the world, and we should be very proud of what they're watching, because I don't think it's really been done before. And to go to another country and maybe into a 3,000 or 4,000 arena just for a little bit more money, you know, AJ has always wanted to put on shows in and out of the ring, and every show there isn't a show like an Anthony Joshua show. There just isn't in world boxing anymore. So we don't really want to walk away from that necessarily.
Anthony, you mentioned how the fans, maybe the audience just in general, want to see you knocking people over and getting them onto the canvas. So how do you deal with that pressure, knowing that you've become such a big boxing superstar across the world?
I don't think that's got anything to do with like celebrity status. That's just what boxing is. You got to beat people and beat them good. So that's just the job, innit? Do you know what I mean? That's what Rob teaches me. Don't punch wide. You know, punch short. That's how you hurt them more. You know, defend and counter. So that's what he teaches me, to knock people out. And I think, like, even if you're an unknown fighter and you're just starting out, you have to have that same mindset. So I just don't think it, like, oh, because of you have the pressure of knocking people out, because of you have this much social following. I just think that is just the challenge of a fighter, is to just handle business the way a fighter should. You know where I'm coming from.
AJ, just going back to the stoppage for a minute, had he not stopped it, would your next 2 or 3 shots be pretty risky for him, don't you think? I mean,
100%.
Is he entering that zone where he's...
Yeah, 100%.
That's what I asked you. What did you think where you're sitting? Because
but the public want to see those 2 or 3 shots.
Yeah,
that's the difference.
That's the thing.
That's the difference.
And maybe the ref's job is to, like, say, well, live to fight another day.
No one in boxing had a problem with a stoppage.
So it's just tough. I get it, though.
We understand.
And that goes back to you. My job is to knock him out. That's what I have to do. So it's nothing to do with...
People thought he deserved another flurry.
No, they think he deserved to be flat on his back. And that's what it's about. What? Come on.
He wasn't fighting back. It wasn't if it was, you know, oh, he could have gone on to win the fight, or he could... People felt
people
like,
want to see me flat on my back. Like, it's just boxing, innit? Like, they just want to see someone get battered.
People wanted people to see if he could see the final bell as well.
That's it, yeah. And they want to see what I'm going to do in round 11, if I'm going to make mistakes, and they want to. That's what people come
at
to
one
see.
stage, I thought we was only going to get 4 rounds because it looked like the doctor was going to stop the fight. It was touch and go, and that would have been a disaster.
And what was going through your head when you just kept coming forwards and you didn't want to give up?
Cheeky, I thought he was cheeky. But I thought, okay, Rob told me about this type of guy. He told me, and he said, don't get carried away, because they're waiting, as I said, 1 punch. He may weigh 16 plus stone, but when you meet on meat, that impact is probably 24 stone. So you're just waiting, being patient. You know your strengths. His strength is tuck up, you can weather the storm, and try and catch a fighter slipping. But like I said, we train well. And I was ready to do another 12 rounds. If that was the case, I would have definitely been fit and ready to do the 12 rounds.
So what is the situation with your nose? Is it broken?
Nah, it's just swollen. Like, just bust it. Like, you know when you just get hit. Yeah, just headbutting me bad, man. But the doctor checked it. No stress. It's just really swollen. Yeah.
And Anthony, what did you learn from this fight the most? What's the most valuable lesson that you've learned?
Okay, different styles make different fights. This fight was completely different to the fight before, as you can see. We was at learning level when we first started, then we went British level, You know, they were a bit tougher, reputation, pride. Then we entered into the world level, and now we're at the level where we're trying to own the division, and we're fighting people who want that as well. So they come tough, they come game. So what I learned is that they hang around, they stick in there, even when it gets tough, they're going to stick in there, and just don't switch off. Don't switch off, because if history repeats itself, we've seen it. Great fighters make mistakes. No heavyweight is one-time champion of the world, undefeated. They're all like 2-time, 3-time heavyweight champion of the world. So, God willing I don't, or if I ever get beat, I want it to be by the guy who was just better than me, not because I was making mistakes. So I could see Takam was a type of fighter that wanted me to tire, you know, and then him start breaking me down in the later rounds. But I just had to stay switched on. And I look at Wilder, when he fought, Bermain's the only fighter he hasn't knocked out. That short, stocky style. They're just tricky fighters. So, you know, I'm just dealing with certain style of fights early, which are good, which will only hold me in good stead in the next 4 or 5 fights in the future.
And did you talk to any former heavyweights for a bit of guidance?
Do you know what? It was interesting, right? Larry Holmes was saying how important the jab was in an interview, and I read. And then I could hear the coach in the corner saying, use the jab. And I remembered Larry saying how important the jab was. So a fighter will gain confidence when you give him space to. But when you just keep on ramming that jab in his face, it gives him something to think about rather than the confidence. So I just kept on listening to the old fighter of Larry Holmes and just tried my best to land that jab and keep him at bay.
All right, guys, one more question.
Eddie, does your testing tell you that Parker or Wilder would be more straightforward to?
There's nothing straightforward about a heavyweight unification fight, especially when someone's not going to like the reality of what they're worth.
Silence.
Who would you prefer out of those two, Anthony?
I'm easy. What do you think? Who do you think?
I think both are winnable fights for Anthony. I mean, Anthony's unified champion in my eyes. I think Parker Wilder in that order, because it'll be a bigger fight with Wilder down the road than it is right now, I presume.
Yeah. We'll do it in that order, yeah. Makes sense.
Anthony, I know you don't want to look towards 2018, but Eddie said earlier he'd like you to fight 3 times if you could.
Okay.
If you could map out your 3 fights next year, who ideally would you like it to?
Well, I don't mind. Okay, we spoke about it in the ring after, actually. I said, so what's the deal with these mandatory? Because it was like this fight. It's weird because people are like, oh, boo, Takam, he's this, he's that. Until they saw him on the scales and they said, okay, he looks in good nick. Do I give up belts to get one fight, and then after that one fight, I'm like, what do I do now? Do you know what I mean? So I said to Ed, so with these mandatories, what's next? So the WBA, I think, have got a mandatory in place. So my next 3 fights can be an obligation that I have to fill if I want to keep the belts, or if they give an exemption, then I go on and fight a voluntary challenger. Do you know what I mean? Who I don't know who that is yet. So I'm just focusing on keeping my belts by any means. So whoever that is in the WBA list, that's who you have to fight, unless my coach and Rob speaking and they tell me otherwise. But in my mind, I'm just focusing on keeping my belts and getting better from here and winning, because it's not about like the 21st fight, the 22nd fight. It's about 15 fights from now, 5 years, 10 years from now. So, you know, I'm not just worried about like my next 3 fights. I've got a plan, the long-term strategy with Rob and Eddie. So the next 3 fights, I've got to focus on the next one, then the next one, then the next one, then the next one, then the next one, and I want to keep my belts by any means.
Right, guys, thank you so much for coming out tonight. Thank you.
Well done, mate.
Sorry.
Chat with the papers just